What it be, what it be, what it do, what it do. It's your host Dave with the Dave and Blue Show. So your mama, your cousin, your bro. To like, share, and subscribe to the Dave and Blue Show. We lit. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm a little bit late with the video today. I am not at home. I'm out of town, traveling. We had some family circumstances, so the video's a little bit late today. I'm not home, obviously. But, I had to get you guys the video today. So, Michigan loses to Ohio State 27-9 on Saturday. That was brutal, painful, and everything else. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's, talk about where we messed up and just kind of the overall feel of the game. This game felt like one of those early 2010 games where just like nothing you could do was going to matter. I'd say we started off strong. We started off very strong. We got the ball first, drove right downfield. I think Marshall had about a 30-something yard run to start the game off. And I was like, oh, shoot, okay. And they hit him with a over the middle little button hook first down pass to play after. We get down to the red zone just easily. And then just like immediately have to go and kick a field goal. And yeah. So I was like, okay, first drive, fine, 3 points. They have a good red zone defense. And then we stopped them. I believe we stopped them on their second drive. We get an interception. So they try to pass to, I believe, Carnell Tate, in a deep pass, and Zeke Berry stops it. Then they throw it to the other side to Jeremiah Smith, and Jair Hill gets his first interception of the season. So shout out Jair Hill. It kind of followed the blueprint I've seen these last few years where we start off the game and make Ohio State turn the ball over, and then we just kind of stick with them kind of the rest of the game. That's kind of what it felt like. I'm like, oh, shoot. If we go up 10-0, it's really going to pressure them. And then Ryan Day might start tripping out, and they might throw out their game plan. Well, they won't, but they might start messing up and seeing ghosts and tripping out, and we might be able to go ahead and get a win here. That just did not happen. That didn't happen. It was rough because you get down to the red zone 2 different times to start the game off, and you're thinking, okay, if we score a touchdown here on any of these 2 possessions, it automatically puts them in a rough situation and us in a much better one, because then you can kind of try and like sit on the ball, just run it a decent amount, and just kind of run the clock down. But we got down there, and to his credit, Dominic Zavada hit his kicks. He hit all 3 of his kicks. But the offense was abysmal. The offense was horrible. So we couldn't score. And their defense is also elite. I'll say that. Ohio State's defense was everything it was cracked up to be and then some. But also our play calling was terrible. We played terrible. Bryce Underwood did not look good. And we only ran for, I think, 100 yards exactly. So that's rough. That's probably our lowest rushing yards, I think, total for a game this season, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I think Bryce Underwood only had 63 passing yards and an interception or something. It was bad, guys. It was really rough. Really rough. It was everything you hoped it wouldn't be. All of the issues. So Bryce was 8 of 18 for 63 yards and an interception, no rushing touchdowns, 6 rushing yards. He also was sacked. So if we're being honest, this looked like kind of like the Oklahoma game all over again. He only attempted 18 passes. We barely ran the ball. I mean, at least in the Oklahoma game, like, we were able to run the ball. We couldn't run the ball. He completed 8 of 18 passes, so they almost didn't even try to throw it anymore. Um, Ohio State was just better all around. All around, they were just better. Felt like 50-0, but it was 27-9. Um, the defense. This was an issue all season. I kept saying it over and over. When is the interior defensive line going to create pressure? We need our interior defensive line to be better. We need the interior defensive line to actually pressure Julian Sand, and that did not happen. I don't think he had to scramble once, really. Like, he might have moved out of the pocket a little bit, but he still was not really pressured. Derek Moore was nowhere to be found. TJ Guy, nowhere to be found. Trey Pierce, Damon Payne, Rayshawn Benny, Jayshawn Barton, none of our defensive line did anything the entire game. So that was horrible. Ernest Hausman didn't even play. So I don't know what that's all about, because you just randomly hear that he's going through some type of enlightening, whatever the heck he's talking about. And he's like, oh, I'm going to be back this week, and then doesn't play. I don't really know if him being there would have made a difference, because I doubt it would have. But you don't see Ohio State starting middle linebackers or anyone who's if he's actually healthy, which I think he is. You don't see their players sitting out the game if they're healthy. Tate and Smith played, and they were hurt for 2-3 games this year. So what are we doing? It almost makes you question, like, what in the world did the coaching staff actually go over this game to prepare for this game, because we had all the same issues we've had all season. Zeke Berry gets beat on a double move by Jeremiah Smith. I think that was his only touchdown of the game, was that double move. We've been biting on double moves all season. The shuffling players in and out, right? Jordan Young gets beat on a slant route for a touchdown, and I think another play too. But you're shuffling in freshmen and guys that haven't played all season, like Anderson, I think it was, number 13. He comes in for a few different plays this game. He hasn't played all season. What are we doing? Why is he in the game? Unless Zeke Berry or Jair Hill got severely injured or something. Where's Jaden Sanders? Why is Jaden Sanders not out there? I mean, he at least played a decent amount. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? And then, for the last 4 years, right, we haven't had that second half deep bomb touchdown pass that we are so accustomed to in the 2010s that just shuts our lights off. But we had it on Saturday. That 50-yard pass or whatever it was to Carnell Tate, wide open over the middle. And that, I mean, we haven't had one of those at least since 2019. So just giving stuff up. So yeah, the game was horrible. They played horrible. The coaching was horrible. At least Vada made his kicks. I guess we thought we were going to just replay 2024 again and kick our way to victory. Because that's... And then our punters only... There's one punt he had for 10 yards. It's like, dude, how is he even on a Division I roster? What? I think he had one decent punt the whole game, but it still got returned for about 15 yards. So, yeah, it was a bad game. Horrible game. Ohio State won. Ohio State was better. It is what it is. So, 9-3 on the regular season, which is not horrible. It's better than last year. At least we didn't lose 5 games. Yeah, we... It was bad. And you'd think that they'd have Bryce Underwood at least somewhat prepared, but no, they didn't. They just had him throwing checkdowns the whole game. He was just not seeing the field, not even trying to really scramble at all. Just not doing anything. Just I can't. It was bad. It was a horrible game. And then at the end of the game, they're standing on the M, protecting the M. Or like, bro, just why? You had 60 minutes to do that. You had 60 minutes to do that. At that point, you just look corny, and you're making it where they can have more memes to poke fun at you with for the rest of the season, for the rest of the year. So, what was a good part of this game because I'm still looking for it. I guess Zavada hit his kicks and Jair Hill got his first interception of the season. Those are about the only two good. And Jordan Marshall had a couple of good runs before he got hurt again. I mean, injuries just killed us this year. Like I bet you if Justice Haynes is healthy, that first run goes for a touchdown, and this whole outlook of this game might have been a little different. At least it would have been at least been closer, because at least you would have had the threat of him and Marshall. Because Marshall was running well, then he re-injured his shoulder on his second drive or something or at least it felt like that. He gets out there, he's running hard. First, I was okay. First drive was pretty solid. He's running. Second drive, I think he may have gotten injured. The second, maybe the third drive, and I just see him get hit, and he comes up, and his arm is limp. You're like, dang, he's done. And we're already on our third or fourth string running back at this point because it's Cusdahl, and Cusdahl's good runner is just Ohio State's defensive line is also extremely good this year, and our offensive line they did okay, but I mean you can't run your way out of a 17-9, 24 or whatever. 24-9 and then 27-9 deficit. You can't run your way out of that. Not if you don't have an explosive runner who can just break out and go. So you have to throw the ball. We didn't even try to throw the ball. So the whole game was just horrendous. It just other than the first quarter, it almost felt like we won the first quarter. That'll do it. Like you have to play all four quarters. So It was 10-9 going into halftime, and we got a stop on their first drive coming out of halftime. So I'm like, okay, we might be able to get something going here. It's only 10-9, and we can get it going. And then just nope, psych. You thought we get a few yards and then have to punt again. And then they score, I think, that next possession, make it 17-9. Once it was 17-9, I'm like, yeah, we're done. We're not coming back. So I texted one of my best friends. I'm like, yeah, good game, bro. Enjoy the natty again because we're not coming back at that point. And I'm not a person that gives up, but you can just tell from the game. We can't get anything done. We can't get anything going, and they're just moving the ball almost at will. The defensive line is not creating any pressure. We got their running backs out here juking people when there's like Bo Jackson had a run where I think it's Jimmy Roller and TJ Metcalf are coming at him, and he does the hezzy and steps back towards the middle and then goes back to the outside. It's like, Roller, why are you falling for that? Do you think he's gonna run back inside where all of the tacklers would be coming from because he's going to just hit him? Like, how are you falling for that? That's what I'd like to know. And then he just gains about 4 more yards or whatever. It's just like, dude, come on. So, and it makes it worse because it was senior day. I feel bad for the seniors, bro. At least they won the 4 they had, or 3, however many they had. Bredesen, I think Bredesen was in there for a while, and then he got he came out, or I don't even know. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm just shout out Bredesen, bro. Yeah, so that was as far as quarterback performances go. If you compare last year to this year, which is ironic and insane, Bryce was 1 yard better and 1 interception fewer in his performance than Davis Warren was last year, and that's just that is crazy to me. That's crazy to me. So, and Warren won, which is crazy. I mean, our defense was better last year, so there's that. But the game wasn't some impossible task to win. We could have won the game. But I think after we didn't score any touchdowns those first 2 drives, that really didn't help anything. I think after that, on the second drive we had offensively where we didn't score a touchdown, I started kind of to trip out a little bit. I'm like, dude, how do we not score a touchdown there? We need it to be 10-0, not 6-0. Because you need, 10-0 just, I don't know. I mean, it's just, at least it's a 2-possession lead, right? If they score a touchdown, then fine, you can at least still be up. But we didn't even get a touchdown. Like, dude, what? Just all around. I try to shy away from. I don't call for coaches' jobs or anything, and most of what I focus on is the players and analysis and that type of thing. But that all of these issues are definitely coaching issues because, and I'm not saying I'm giving the coaches a way out or anything like that, because it's definitely a coaching issue. If all of the issues that we've had all season show up in the last game, which you claim to prepare for the entire year, and you have all of the same problems magnified that we've been talking about all season, that's a coaching problem. That's a coaching problem. That's a coaching problem at the end of the day. Because if you're constantly shuffling people in and out when you could just be playing your starters and giving them time, that's a coach's decision. If your game plan looks exactly the same in any game where your team is against an equal or even greater opponent, and you decide to just not let Bryce even try to throw the ball, and you just running on 2nd and 10 against Ohio State is not a good plan of action, guys. Throwing a screen pass or a flat route or any comeback, any button hook, any short route to a running back on 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9 is not going to get you anything. That's not doing it. First off, at this point in the season, we don't have a back who could make something happen with that anyway. Justice Haynes is out. And even if we did, earlier in the season we saw the same type of thing against Oklahoma, and you almost got Justice Haynes killed. So, what are we doing? Andrew Marsh is being double teamed the whole game, so you can't force it to him. But you can still try and throw more than 18 passes. Why would you only have 18 pass attempts in a game where you're down the whole second half? Honestly, from the end of the second quarter to the end of the game, you should, at that point, all right, fine. We're just throw the ball. Throw the ball. Because running is not going to get you out of that deficit. It just isn't. It just isn't. So that's a coaching issue, bro. That's coaching malpractice. I've heard people say this, and they're probably right. I think Johnny Olden said this. Bryce Underwood needs a quarterback coach bad. He said Johnny Olden Jr. said get a quarterback coach tomorrow or today or something. I agree. Might as well. Because Chip Lindsey, bro, what are you teaching him? What are you teaching him? Everything is a check down. He doesn't try to run. He's not trying to throw the ball downfield. At least against Northwestern, at least against Maryland, he was trying to throw the ball downfield and actually hit someone. Now they just have him throwing flat routes and screens like the first 4 games of the season or whatever, or not even the first 4, but against like Oklahoma, US, like any team that has a pulse, they just have him just. The game plan is, all right, run the ball and don't throw an interception, Bryce. That's it. That's what we're gonna do. Even if we lose, that's what we're gonna do. And you don't have the running backs to do that, and you clearly just don't have the skill around him to do that and have it be a positive. So that's it. That was a rough game. I guess we'll be back next year. But tell your mama, your cousin, your bro to like, share, and subscribe to the Dave and Blue Show. We lit. Yeah.